Welcome to the 28th episode of Anycast. This is my podcast on YouTube where we talk about anything that's going on, primarily sports. Before we do get to the sports, because there's a lot to pack in today, I do want to take a moment to observe Memorial Day because this is a very, very important holiday for us. It's not just a day off to celebrate. It's a day of remembering all those who have fallen, sacrificing their lives, all those veterans who put their lives on the line so we can enjoy what we're able to do, and that is enjoy our freedom. So if you get a chance, please take a moment and observe this holiday and remember those who have fought bravely, who have sacrificed their lives and gave their all so that we can enjoy living normal lives. And I also want to include in there the first responders, the healthcare workers, all those who over the course of the last year risked their lives to try to keep our lives as close to normalcy as possible. Because now, this year, Memorial Day feels a whole lot different than this time last year for Memorial Day. Last year, we were concerned about the pandemic, and we didn't really know much about it enough to feel comfortable. Now that we're getting fully vaccinated, Memorial Day this year feels a whole lot better than it did last year. So that's thanks to the healthcare workers, to the scientists, all those who are involved with getting the vaccines out. And it's because of them that we're able to live normal lives again. And I'm blessed to be fully vaccinated with the COVID vaccine. I'll admit that I had a little bit of a side effect with my second dose, but nothing too serious, obviously. But again, I'm blessed to have people who are able to help make my life, along with a lot of people's lives, normal as possible now, thanks to the vaccine. So if you're able to get the vaccine, please do so. And if you're not, please continue to wear a mask and keep your social distancing. But I feel like we're definitely on the right track of getting back to normalcy. And you can clearly tell it as we transition into the sports with the Indy 500. That's right. The greatest racing weekend was back in a big time way. If you did not watch the Indy 500, then don't watch this episode because there are a buttload of spoilers to be about. This was an exciting race all the way around. Scott Dixon and Rossi, who were two of the prohibited favorites, they ran into some issues early on because they ran out of fuel during a caution because one of the cars spun out in pit lane. So that required safety cars to be there, and that unfortunately led to them running out of fuel, and that ultimately killed their day. So it's a bummer for those two, but that opened the door for one Helio Castroneves, a familiar name in IndyCar lore, and one you are going to recognize now because he became only the fourth driver to win this historic, prestigious spectacle of races 4 times in his career, thus continuing the trend this year of the old-timers who still have it. Brady won the Super Bowl. Phil Mickelson won the PGA Championship at 50 years old. Helio Castroneves at 46 wins the Indy 500 for the 4th time. What I'm saying is, age means nothing. As long as you still have the passion, the inner child, the talent, you can do anything. And even Helio pointed that out. If you still have that dream and you believe in it, you can make it come true. But what was really enjoyable was at the very end, it was after the race, when Helio embraced the fans. And there was 135,000 at Indianapolis, which for their capacity limit is quote-unquote a sellout. But the fact that we had that many spectators, it's the largest sporting event that we've had since the pandemic. And they went nuts, and Helio enjoyed every single minute of it. He absolutely enjoyed it. He embraced the fans. He even did his patented Spider-Man over the wall hanging thing, which he did when he won the Indy 500 in the past. But that was just a true sight to see, and that was just absolutely remarkable to watch. I mentioned this is the greatest racing weekend in sports. You have the Indy 500. You also have the Coca-Cola 600. And Hendrick is absolutely on fire as of late. They won their 3rd race in a row. This time, Kyle Larson took it and did it in dominating fashion. And no, he did not finish in second this time. He led 327 laps. Hendrick as a whole led all but 30 of them and finished 1, 2, 4, and 5, 2 weeks after finishing 1, 2, 3, and 4 at Dover. I mean, this is just an unbelievable run. I've never seen Hendrick. I have watched Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and have grown up with those two dominating for Hendrick. I have never seen Hendrick this dominant, though, before. It's not just them winning the races. It's all their drivers finishing up at the top. This is the third race in a row that all four of their drivers finished in the top 11. And it's the third race in a row they finished 1 and 2. And it's the third race in a row they won. And oh, by the way, with this stretch, Mr. H, as they call him, became the winningest team in the history of the Cup Series, passing the legendary Petty Enterprises with 269 wins. This team is absolutely on fire, and I don't see them slowing down any bit because we're going to Sonoma. That's a road course. And if there's one thing Chase Elliott is good at, it is a road course. I could see him winning again next weekend. Wouldn't be surprised if Truex bounces back and wins. But Hendrick is absolutely on fire, and they clearly look like the best team in NASCAR right now. You got to watch out for them. Kyle Larson has been absolutely phenomenal. He was great with Chip Ganassi, and you just wondered how he could do with better talent, or with better equipment, I should say. And it's showing. He's dominating these races. He's contending for these races. He has 2 wins. He, in my opinion, is the favorite to win the whole thing this year. Nothing against Chase Elliott, who's the defending champion, by the way. And he's also doing really well. But Kyle Larson has clearly been the best Hendrick driver this season. And now he gets another win to show for it with this dominating performance. This will go down as one of the more dominating performances in the history of the Coke 600. Truex will by far have the record for most laps led, but he didn't dominate it the way Larson did. He just smoked the field. Not only did he lead all those laps, he won by 10 seconds over second place. There was only 14 cars that finished on the lead lap. 15th on back did not finish on the lead lap and were 2 or more laps down. I mean, that is pure domination. And then to have your other 3 teammates finish in the top 5 as well. Hendrick has to feel really good about his situation right now. And oh, by the way, these are all young guns. They are all in their prime. This is bad news for the rest of the field. And as a Hendrick fan, I am absolutely enjoying every bit of it. So as we move on, baseball is in full swing. No pun intended there. I guess you could say there's some surprises, like the NL East continues to be a disappointment, or as I like to say, the NL Least, or the National Least, as I like to refer them as. They're just, ugh. The Mets are winning the division, but they're barely over 500. That division just looks like garbage. The other 2 divisions in the NL look very intriguing. The Cardinals were rolling up until yesterday. The Diamondbacks finally ended their long losing skid against them. The Cubs are on a roll. The Brewers have looked really good. All 3 of those teams, what do they have in common? They have pitching. What do you need to win in the playoffs? Pitching. I think you got to watch out for those 3 teams. But right now, the teams to beat still are the defending world champion Dodgers and their bitter rivals. And their other bitter rivals. Of course, referring to the Padres and the Giants. The Giants, though, have been a surprise to me. I did not think they were going to make this a 3-legged horse race in the NL West. Everybody going in was thinking Padres, Dodgers, and everybody else. The Giants are going to be a factor in the National League. I think you got to watch out for them. Over in the American League side, it looks like Oakland shaking off that slow start. They look like the team to be in the AL West again. Houston looks like they might be good again. The AL East looks like it's going to be Boston, Tampa, and the Yankees. Blue Jays have shown some glimpses at times, so I think you got to watch out for them. AL Central looks like for right now it's going to be White Sox and Indians. In fact, those 2 teams hook up starting today with a doubleheader for a crucial series. And then there's my Twins. They've been a huge disappointment thus far. Going for their 3rd straight division title, and they're not even at 500. I mean, this has just been a huge disappointment. Hopefully they can try to turn it around, starting with a series against the Orioles today. But we'll see what happens. Stanley Cup playoffs are in full swing. Unfortunately, my Blues are not a part of it. They got swept out by the Avalanche, who then continue their dominance, showing no signs of rest last night when they absolutely dismantled Vegas. My question is, why would you not start Marc-Andre Fleury? There's a reason why he's one of the best goalies in the business. I don't know if it's because they had one day in between games because they had to go to in the 7 games before finally taking out the Wild, and then wanted to give Fleury a few extra days off. You need him. You need your best players in a crucial series against the President's Trophy champion Avalanche. So I question that move. I don't think. I'm not going to say that Vegas would have won if Fleury had shown up. I definitely think they would not have gotten blown out in the fashion that they did last night. But I'm not taking anything away from Colorado. And as a Blues fan who had to witness that series, I'm gonna lay it out there right now. Colorado looks like a very, very, very good team. There's a reason why they won the President's Trophy, and they're finally putting all that talent to good use. I think I will not be surprised if they win the Cup, to be quite honest. They look really good. I was really impressed. I know our team was dinged up, and we were just struggling, and we just kind of ran out of steam at the end. But I'm not taking anything away from the Avalanche. They are clearly the better team. I think had we been healthier, maybe we could have pushed them a little bit, and it would have been a 4-game sweep. But even so, I still think we would have been ousted in the first round because Colorado has talent. I mean, I can't really see a flaw in this team right now. This team looks really good, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with yet in the playoffs. We'll see what happens if Vegas can bounce back. I have the feeling this is going to be a long series because this is the 2 best teams in the NHL in my book. So Vegas is going to find a way to bounce back. I think this is going to be a long series. So watch out for that. I think that'll be intriguing down the stretch. Elsewhere, we got the Islanders and the Bruins in the East Division. I think that's a bit of a surprise. I really thought Washington, well, maybe not Washington. I thought Pittsburgh might have been able to get out of there against the Islanders. I'm surprised New York was able to get past them. Boston, I'm not really surprised. They're a veteran-savvy playoff team. They know it. They were just 2 years removed from playing a Game 7 against my Blues in the finals. So they're going to be primed and ready. And when you have Tuukka Rask, you really have a good chance. So I'm not really surprised on that. Let's see. Where else are we? The Hurricanes and the Lightning in what is the quote-unquote Central Division, even though there's nothing central about it. But not surprising that those 2 teams are meeting in that division. So I think that's another not surpriser. And then the North Division is just picking up slack. I mean, they're playing catch-up because they had to play all those makeup games, because Vancouver had to play all those makeup games, because we have to determine where they're going to be as far as the draft is concerned. So they're running a little bit behind. Winnipeg swept Edmonton, though. I think that's a huge shot. That's easily the biggest surprise in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, is Winnipeg not only beat Edmonton and Connor McDavid, they swept them. I mean, that was an absolute shocker. And they're still sitting waiting to see who they're going to play. They're either going to get Toronto or Montreal. They play Game 7 tonight. That'll be interesting to see what happens there. Will Toronto finally get over the hump and win a playoff series and win a clinching game? Or are they going to be the choke artists that we've come to know and love, if you happen to not like Toronto that much? So we'll see what happens. But they're in full swing, and they're moving on to the second round just about. Almost everybody, that is. NBA still in the first round, and quite frankly, the Eastern Conference is just as I anticipated. The Bucks thoroughly swept the defending Eastern Conference champion Heat. The Heat definitely didn't have the same team that they had last year. The Bucks definitely made some improvements and showed it. The only nail-biter was in Game 1. That went into overtime, and after that, it was all Milwaukee. Miami put up a little bit more of a fight in Game 4, as I figured they were going to, being a desperate team at that point. But Milwaukee looks really, really good. They got their payback. Now they get to sit and wait and rest for a little bit before they face, presumably, the Nets, who move one step closer to advancing. They're up 3-1 on Boston. And as great as Jason Tatum has been, one man cannot win a title. And that's why Brooklyn, with their threesome, is absolutely rolling at this point. The Sixers are on the verge of sweeping the Wizards. That's not surprising. What is a bit of a surprise, though, is Atlanta's up 3-1 on the New York Knickerbockers. Although, I want to say something about that Game 2. I watched Game 2 the other night. The Garden was alive and well, and it was awesome to see the world's most famous arena alive and rolling, and with Spike Lee on the court, or courtside, that is. That was just an incredible sight to watch. It's unfortunate that the Knicks look like they're going to get ousted in shocking fashion, but still, though, that's one moment I'm going to take away out of this is to see the Garden alive and well again. Not just because we got fans again for the pandemic. The Knicks have been a perennial dumpster fire, a team that was completely disoriented, and what Thibodeau did to that organization. I'm a little shocked that he did not win Coach of the Year. That went to the Suns coach, and he rightfully deserves it. But if I were to vote for Coach of the Year, I would vote for Thibodeau because of the fact that he basically had the same team that has been a complete disorganization in the last 2 years. And he turned them into a playoff team in his first year as coach. This guy knows how to coach. Look what he did with the Bulls beforehand. He turned them back into a perennial contender in the Eastern Conference for a while yet. The man can coach. Thibodeau deserves all the praise he gets because he is a remarkable coach. Now, moving on to the Western Conference. None of the series have been wrapped up yet. In fact, 3 of them are guaranteed to go 6 games. Utah is up 2-1, I believe, on Memphis. I don't believe they've played a game 4 yet. Denver and the Blazers are 2-2. LA Lakers, I should say, because they're both LA teams are in. Lakers and the Suns are 2-2, but momentum's on Phoenix's side at this point, especially with AD knocked out. That's a huge blow for the Lakers. Clippers are on a roll. They're 2-2 with Dallas. Dallas won the first 2 on the road. The Clippers come right back and win the next 2 in Dallas to reclaim home court advantage. And now they've got the momentum. So I think right now you got to say Phoenix and the Clippers I think are going to move on. Utah is in good shape right now. The one that's in doubt I think is Denver and Portland. That could be a lengthy series. Unfortunately, that's probably going to be the only lengthy series in the first round. But we'll see how things progress as we get on to the later rounds. If there's been another constant other than these one-sided series in the NBA playoffs, unfortunately, it's for a negative thing. And we've had 3 separate instances where fans all chucking stuff or making fun of visiting players. Folks, that's just wrong. I mean, there's not a time and a place for that at all. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. The same principle applies for if you have a hatred against a player, don't show that hatred by chucking things at them. Keep it to yourself, or else you're going to be not able to go to games for life, which I think should be the punishment. And in my opinion, I think they should be treated like actual criminals. They should be arrested. This should go on their records. That's what they get for I mean, that's the price that they're paying. They're making these decisions. They should pay for these decisions that they're making, and they should be taught a lesson. Give them some jail time. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not even going to go beyond that because, I mean, it's like that. And then the NFL and the latest drama, soap opera. Rodgers and the Packers are a divided loyalty at this point. And the wide receivers joined Rodgers and skip voluntary OTAs. Quite frankly, I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's voluntary. It doesn't really going to tell anything, not until we get to the mandatory stuff. But, I mean, the Packers have to do something. They got to make Rodgers happy. I quite frankly don't blame Rodgers for what he's doing. By the way, I'm envious of him because he's enjoying life in Hawaii right now. But I don't blame him for what he's doing. Because, quite frankly, we're a team that's on the brink of making the Super Bowl the last 2 years, and we've done virtually nothing to improve the team and make Rodgers a happy camper. Rodgers has been your QB for a decade and a half, and you owe him big time. Or else this is going to turn into the Brett Favre saga all over again for Packers fans. We know how that unfolded. Do I retire? Do I not retire? All that stuff because of the heir apparent to Rodgers. And now we're coming again full circle, and now Rodgers is on this end of it. And we've done absolutely nothing. All we've done is pick up another quarterback. And it's a QB I don't even like, even. Blake Bortles has been, one good year with the Jaguars, to his name. And now he's the backup in case Rodgers is a no-go. I mean, And with Julio Jones available on the market, apparently, you would think they would do something about it. You have first-round picks. Seattle does not. The Niners do not. And they're going after Julio Jones. You have that luxury. Use it. Make Rodgers happy. I beg of you. I do not want to have to deal with the Packers struggling, for crying out loud. It's already bad enough for me. The Twins are struggling. The Blues got ousted. The Packers are... But I digress. So I leave this in the hands of you, Packers organization, if you're listening to this somehow, and I hope you are, because I would love to have a bunch of people watching my podcast. But to the Packers organization, you need to do something to get Rodgers back! Or else we're going to be... and I'm leaving it at that. So, there's that. So, with that said, I hope you all enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Remember to reflect on why we're celebrating this holiday. It's a remembrance. Please remember that this is because of veterans. It's because of healthcare workers. It's because of first responders that we are able to enjoy the freedom that we have. So please remember that this Memorial Day weekend. Continue to stay safe. And if you've been fully vaccinated, like me, congratulations. You can now live normal lives again. If you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, please do so. It is not that bad. Trust me. I didn't have that major side effects. So you should be fine. These are proven to work, and they will help reduce the spread of coronavirus. And if you're not eligible yet to take the vaccine, as always, wear a mask, keep your social distancing, because you're not fully protected yet. You want to make sure that you reduce the spread if possible. So, guys, take care. Please continue to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Continue to watch my stuff, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.